Hi everyone and welcome to the FinancialFox TV show. Joining me today is David Bramhill, Executive Chairman of Union Jack Oil. Union Jack Oil is a junior energy company focused on UK onshore hydrocarbon production, development and exploration. And if you want to check them out, their ticker is UJO, and as I said, they are listed on the London Stock Exchange. So this week they announced some really positive update on two of the flagship assets. Yesterday was on Wessle, which is coming into production over the next few months, and today on West Newton. So let's connect to David to find a little bit more what is going on, and if he can comment also on the upcoming operation. Hi David, how are you?
Morning Stefania, very good.
Okay, so we have got some really good news this week from Union Jack. Yesterday we had Wessle and today West Newton. So shall we maybe start with West Newton?
Of course, be delighted. Well, first of all, I'll say that Ratlin have done a really good job to try and, we all know about this terrible COVID and what it's caused, and thankfully it hasn't affected us that much. On the B1 site, which is completely different to the extended well test site, the A1, they've made rapid progress, and I think a lot of shareholders have already been up there. They've taken photographs, they've had these drones flying over, and I think everyone's aware of the excellent progress that's been made. The update today confirmed that the rig will be on site. The first rig will turn up in a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks time, and then that'll be followed. So there's absolutely everything is going according to plan on the B1 well. Well thought out, well structured, and as the statement said this morning, we're on time. The extended well test for the A2 discovery has been a difficult thing to get through the health and safety. It was flying away, and then the COVID held up slightly, but not, you can't say, oh, COVID has wrecked this plan. But what's happened, it's taken longer than originally anticipated. Everything is now in place, but it's coincided with the drilling of B1, and B1 was always going to be around about this time of year because the planning authorities, the OGA have to give their permission, plus booking of key parts to come in. So you can't say, oh, we're going to do the extended well test first of all on the A2. This is just a timing issue, because B1 is probably the most important part of the whole of the West Newton operation. I say probably, it is the most important part, because we know that we've got a massive gas discovery anyway, due to the drilling on the A1 well and the A2. What we don't know is what the oil column really is. And the test that we've done, really, we don't know. Even with all the laboratories coming back, it looks like a very, very light condensate, but we don't know. And the EWT will tell you this. However, the B1 drilling will prove whether or not this discovery extends another 2 kilometers. If it does, then that's a project, I won't say done and dusted, but you'll have a lot of people sitting up and looking at the result and say, hey, wow, they'll be doing their own back of the fag packet calculations. And it could be, now early days, we need to drill it, need confirmation. But alongside this, concurrently, has been running the EWT operations. Now, with COVID, we need a crew in from Holland. I think it's Holland anyway. So, and they have been delayed. So the bottom line is, it's much better to get the B1 done and dusted, and then we'll have all the kit on site ready to do both tests, both extended well tests, one on the B1, one on the A2.
So I think one of the questions the investor asked was indeed why you started with the B1 first.
Purely, nothing sinister, Stefania. It's purely a timing issue. We can't run 2 operations concurrently like that, because we need the kit for B1.
ultimately that is going to be better in a way, because you can assess the B1 before, you know, you start the extended well test to both.
Oh, we think so, absolutely. Yeah. As I say, there's nothing, I know you mentioned that some people might have raised an eyebrow and said, well, why are they doing that? There's nothing, that's just sheer timing. And the B1 really is probably the most important event. And we can't delay that. That cannot be delayed. We know we have a discovery with the A2, but the B1 still we need to do that.
Okay, in terms of timing, where we are now?
Let me put this way: where we're at, we're ready to drill effectively. We're ready for the geotechnical rig to come on site to do the 2 conductors. Once that operation has been done, which will take about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we then bring the rig on. Like, if you're asking me, when will we see a conclusion to this? Assuming that nothing silly happens of all the lockdowns and all that, which, you know, is potentially worrying, because you wouldn't want that to happen. And I mean that not from an operations view, like when you put into perspective what's most important, our test or COVID. There's only one answer to that. Obviously. So, you know, but everything's on. So if you're asking me for a timetable conclusion, I would say well before Christmas.
What are your expectations after this operation?
Oh, my expectation, I expect this to be a massive discovery, to B1. I expect B1 to confirm. Until you drill it, nobody knows. The A2 has already been confirmed. That we know that. We know that is the real deal. At least you've got a massive gas discovery.
Yeah.
At best, at optimum, you've got something quite special. But we honestly don't know, Stefania. The same applies to B1.
Sure. One of the other things that I wanted to mention was about the carbon assessment that has been done on the project to show, you know, the minimal impact that the development of the project can have on the environment. And I think nowadays this is something very important to mention, considering, you know, all the concern around, and also the government that is caring a lot about projects they are not having a big impact on the you know, on the environment. Do you want maybe to expand on that and on the study that?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, first of all, I think the protesters are right to make a point, and I think the government are right to make a point. But what I will say is that oil exploration is a lot different than it was even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I go as far as saying even 3 years ago. All the different laws and rules have been brought in, and these are laws. They're not, and I don't believe that there is an oil company in the UK who would flaunt those rules. They wouldn't. They'd lose the right to explore. They'd be in serious trouble. So, but what I will say, going forward, any company that thinks that they can maybe not spend money and time on getting the environmental situation made as clear as possible and get the carbon intensity as low as possible, they have another thing coming, because it's going to have to be done. I think what Rehoboth and ourselves have done is really gone a step ahead before it becomes legislation. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we like to think that we're good companies. We operate in a nice manner, safely, and to the best of our ability for the country. And with that comes responsibilities, and I like to think that we are responsible. Yeah. So it's a good question, or a good comment you made there, Stefania, and we're ahead of the game on that for sure.
Okay, that's very good. So let's just wrap it up talking a little bit about the news that was out yesterday on Wessle, which is coming into production over the next few months. And, you know, the OGA confirmation of your further, of your acquisition of a further interest is quite significant for Union Jack, because it's going to add some really good value.
Of course, it's marvelous. When you consider we made that discovery in 2014, and it really, really is a great discovery. This is something like Graham Bull and myself were on site when we were testing, and you pray to God it's going to flow. And when we saw the oil coming out, it really, really is probably one of the most exciting things that you've ever seen. Because, you know, it actually flows. You can see it rising out the tube, and it's taken a long, long time to get this through the council. As you know, we won't go into all of that. It's done and dusted, and I think everybody's friends again. And Egdon have done, again, an excellent job through these adversary times. You know, they haven't been easy to deal with. You're dealing with people at home, you're dealing with an office. It's basically now a home base. So in order to we're now in a position where the site contractors are on site, they're working, they're reconfiguring what was at the drill site into a proper production site now, and everything is ready, everything's been ordered, all the bits are being delivered. The civils contractor is working away. Anyone can go there, or you can't see it because it's in a private area. But you know, like we said yesterday, everything's working, everything's happening, and the guidance given by the operator, Egdon, is first oil in H2 October.
Okay, but you know that the additional interest that you bought is gonna concretize in obviously more revenue coming back to Union Jack. Do you want to give me some numbers?
This project makes money at $17. That's $17 is not the production price. The production cost is probably about $10. But in order to recoup all your drilling costs, planning costs, building of the site, production rigs, and all this, that you need a $17 oil price is the robustness to this project. The price you must have for it to become in the blue or in the black. And we're looking at $42 today. I think it'd go a lot higher. So this is going to give us a lot of income and a lot of revenue, which we didn't have 3 months ago. Effectively makes the company self-sufficient.
With the initial constraint production at 500 barrels per hour per day, you are basically going to get 200 net to
That's right. Yeah. And anyone can do the back of the flag packet maths on that and see that it's going to make us money.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fantastic, David. Thank you so much. We are looking forward, to see operations starting at West Newton and also at Wessle, which is just very short term. So, finger crossed that everything is going to go well.
I'm sure it will. But what I will say, Stefania, is people shouldn't underestimate Biscathorpe.
Okay.
There's probably not time to discuss, but we put an update on that, and we're really. This is a project we're ultra keen on. Could be anything. And also we've got the bread and butter, Keddington, 55%. So we're in a very, very nice place for a junior company.
So with a nice portfolio that can bring more news flow and, over the next months and years. So sounds all very good.
And finally, what I will say, a lot of this is down to our team. Joe, Graham, Zach, Ray, plus our brokers, our auditors, it's all one big happy family, which is great.
And also the partners that you mentioned. I mean, you mentioned Egdon and you mentioned.
We couldn't wish for better.
Okay, that's really nice to hear because it shows it's good that the management has got confidence in the partners, and obviously you are working together, and that's really good. Okay, David, thank you so much, and I hope to have you back on the show to discuss more about West Newton and Wessle, but also Biscathorpe, that you seem really excited. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye bye, Stefania.
Okay, bye, David. Okay, this is everything from the Financial Fox, and stay tuned with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with our news and exclusive interviews. I will see you next time.